Alright guys, and gals, how are you all doing? So, this isn't the single player survival world. This is more of a creative world that I made for testing out ideas that I had. I saw Seth Pling make himself, using the Turtlecraft, make himself a little bit of a automatic tree farm dealy, and I decided to, thanks to his inspiration, it's something I wanted to do, and I decided to actually finally do it. And I'm doing it in creative mode, because we will eventually do it in our survival world. What's this? No, that's nothing. We'll eventually do it in the survival world, but I don't have the resources to do it yet, so I wanted to get it planned out first, and then be able to execute it later. So I'm just going to show you what this does. This is our little turtle. He's a turtle. I've added a program to it called logging. Now, the first step for this program is there's a sapling placed down here, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces of open air above it. Now, when I run the program logging, it's one of those programs that doesn't end right away. Now, usually this is a bad idea for programming. You don't want it to just run for an extremely long time. Well, I guess you do. It depends on the program. But you can see that if it were to end, it would have another little arrow sign, but it doesn't. So it's going. I'll talk more about the turtle in a second. So that program is going. Now, if I were to take some bone meal and make the tree grow, you can see it'll start to mow down the tree. And it'll go up and then come back down. Place a sapling, turn around, place the wood into the chest, and then repeat the process. Now the reason it can grow another tree right away is because I've placed saplings in the second slot and bone meal in the last slot. Now this is coded into taking those two into account, so if you're going to use my program and you want to use bone meal, do it like this. You don't have to have saplings. You can modify the program to just wait for the tree to naturally grow. But it's creative mode, so I went ahead with that. And it is one of those programs that runs for quite a bit of time. So I'm actually going to try and terminate the program by holding Control and T, and it'll terminate. And now I do got to get this guy back to the starting point. So I'm gonna type in Lua so I can actually mess with the function. So I can type in turtle down, and it comes down 1. And do that again. Comes down again. All right, we're back to the normal position. So what happens when this guy places wood in the chest? Well, as a matter of putting the torches back, 1 torch there, 1 torch here. So what's gonna happen now is 2 things. This redstone engine is going to pop some of the wood into the top slot of the furnace. This one's going to pop some of the wood into the bottom slot. And through that combination, it will start turning this wood into charcoal. Now, it's half and half right now, so half of your wood's going to go top, half your wood's going to go bottom. Maybe that's not what you want, and then if that's the case, you're going to have to play around with some of the pipes. But it's going to make some charcoal, and this other redstone engine will pump it into this chest. And so this is just making a bunch of charcoal. And I've already run it a couple times and I have this much charcoal. So this charcoal can also be used to go ahead and power your little guy. We're going to exit the Lua interpreter, and we're going to look at my program called logging. So, if you've never done any programming before, I will try to explain this as best as I can. The Turtlecraft, computer craft, has a bunch of functions. Functions are things that do stuff. Example, this turtle.dig will dig in front. Turtle.down will move down. Turtle.dig up will dig the block above it. So, think about what you want to happen. I want it to be, my turtle is here. Right, let's pretend that block of dirt's my turtle. I want a sapling to be here. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to check, and constantly check, for whenever that sapling grows. And so what that means to me is I wanted to check when it can actually dig out a block. And so if we go back over here, you can see that if turtle dot, we'll deal with the while in a little bit, but if turtle dot dig equals true, so if this returns true, that means if the turtle did manage to dig out something, then do the rest of this stuff. Move down one block. So then turtle is now here. For I equals 0. Now this is just saying here is a letter, assign it this number 0. We want to go from 0 to the number 5, and we want to do this in steps of 1. So it's going to do 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And it's going to do these, I can't see my cursor, it's going to do these 3 actions for each one of those loops. This is called a for loop. So for, you can also think of it from 0 to 5 in steps of 1, do turtle.dig up, turtle.up. Now what this does is, it's gonna, I can show you, I can illustrate out. This tree has grown, yeah? So it's gonna dig this one out. It will then move up one. It's gonna dig that one out. What it will also do is it will dig out the block above it so that it itself can move up one. It will dig that one out, dig out the block above it, move up one, dig that one out, dig out the block above it, move up one, dig that one out, dig up until it gets to the top. So for that end, that means I'm done with that for loop. I can now do other stuff. Now I wanted to come back down to the ground. So similarly, I went up. From 0 to 5 I went up, so I have to come down from 0 to 5. And so that will make it come down 1. So now we're back at ground level. When we're at ground level, I want you to select the item that is in your second slot. In this case, and for me this works, it is the sapling. I want you to place the sapling in front of you, and then I want you to select the item in your first slot. Now blaze rods are what I'm using for fuel. You can use coal as well, or charcoal, or other stuff. Here's where I'm asking the turtle something. Turtle.getFuelLevel will return how much fuel is left in the turtle. Now the turtle needs fuel to be able to operate. So, what I'm asking it is, if your fuel level is less than 100, then use the fuel that is in slot 1 and refuel yourself. Use one of those. You can use 64 if you want to refuel completely. Or not completely, but if you want to refuel using all of the items in that slot. But just one is good. It's a blaze rod. It's good. So, if and only if, so if the fuel level is not less than 100, it won't even do this loop. But if it is, then go ahead and do that. The next step is the turn. I want you to select the item that's in your third slot. That's going to be your wood. From there, I want you to turn left twice. It's going to turn you around 180 degrees. Then I want you to drop that item. Now, drop will drop an item on the ground, or if there's an inventory in front of it, it will drop it into that inventory. So the inventory in our case is the chest. So it will drop the item into the chest, and then turn left twice, again to 180 degree, turn back to the front. Select 16, which is the bone meal. It's going to place the bone meal, which will cause the sapling to grow. Here is where you would remove these two lines. If you don't want to use the bone meal, you can just remove these two lines, and it'll do the same thing it's done. It'll just have to wait for the tree to grow on its own. And the last final things are just a couple safety things. Select 1, so go back to this first slide, just in case something went wrong, and then turtle up. So after all of that, it will turn left once, turn left twice. There'll be a chest. It'll place something in there. And it'll turn left once, turn left twice. It'll put some bone meal on the sapling, and then it'll finally move up. And then it'll repeat again as many times. So, the reason it repeats is this while loop. While turtle.get fuel level is greater than 0. So while it still has fuel, do all of this. And that's that final end, is ending the big while loop. And that is the basic idea. And that's the basic, that's the program. Now, if you want to make a program yourself, it's simple enough. You just type in edit and name your program. And it will give you this little access menu. From here, you can exit. You want to save it usually. And then once you've saved it, you can go ahead and type programs. Oops, nope, I'm sorry. Save it, exit. You'll be back over here. Type programs, and you can see that, you can see somewhere there should be the name of the program that I named. Name it? I think I named it name? Yeah, name. I have logging here, and this also comes with a couple of built-in programs. That is actually all I want to do with this episode. I imagine it's been really short, but I wanted to get that out of the way. It's something that I will be doing in the survival world once I have enough resources to get that going. Sometimes the sapling takes a little bit. Come on. I knock out the dirt that was there. Let me have it go one more time. Oh my god. Alright, first off, I would like to have it like that. Turn off the rain. Oh, the trees. I grew grass. That's not what I wanted to do. Make sure there's no grass underneath the turtle. Might mess it up. This will eventually go. There we go. Okay. So now I can start my logging program. Oh, but no. Haha. The importance of being... Alright. The reason I had that dirt block up there is because I wanted that... I wanted to make sure that the trees never grew out of control. And so this kind of happened. Seems he's holding his own though. That's interesting. It turns out funny enough that this big tree is big enough to hold a small tree in it. So it'll still work, it's just... yeah, you want to have this dirt block up there so the trees don't get too out of control. Anyways, you can see that it's putting in the oak wood into the chest. Sapling turned around. Sapling grow. Oak wood in the furnace, and from the furnace into here. Alright guys, that's all I wanted to cover today. We'll do more with ComputerCraft later. If you have any questions about it, let me know. I'm not as good at sapling, I imagine, but hey, I'm also a programmer, so this is something that interests me. Anyways, take care, and I will... Actually, let me show you a couple of things. To stop the program, you can either know how it works and break it yourself, so I know that I can't place the sapling, there's no block there. So that's one way to get him to stop moving. See? But he's still going, because his fuel level is still up. So what you want to do is hold Control and T, and it'll stop the program. And that's it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.